Hello, I'm glad you're here today. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I am making some gluten-free banana bread tonight. I had made banana bread on one of my other videos, but this one is going to be a gluten-free. And I'm going to show you the difference in the products that I'm using today for people who have to take gluten out of their diet. And people who have fibromyalgia and celiac and some other types of illnesses, they will take gluten out. And I'm trying to do that in my diet since I found out I have fibromyalgia. And my daughter also does, and she's removed gluten from her diet, and she said it has made a huge difference for her. So we're going to try it, and I'm adding more and more products to my cooking that have gluten-free um, symbols on them that tell you that they're for sure gluten-free. So I'm going to show you over here. We're going to swing this around, and I'm going to show you I've put in the bananas, and I'm showing you some bananas here that these are not the bananas, of course, that are in there, but these are just starting to get brown. So if we don't eat them in the next day, those will go in the freezer. That's what I do with my bananas. I don't just throw them away. I did have some bananas I threw away because they were icky from the start. They had like black spots in it that looked like something might have been eating it, so those went away. But these we've eaten and they're good. So the ones I have in here came from the freezer, and the reason that I do that is they're usually sweeter that way. The bananas are sweeter, and you don't waste your bananas that you don't eat. Okay, and I also put in there the butter, and it takes 8, and I'm using the recipe that is on this bag of flour that I used this same flour when I made the chocolate chip cookies. On the back of this bag has chocolate chip cookies, banana bread, pie crust, gravy, and breading, how to make all gluten-free of those. And that's why I'm using this bag recipe, because I know for sure that it's gluten-free flour, and then the ingredients that they're adding to their recipes are all gluten-free. And this is called the all-purpose gluten-free vegan all-purpose flour artisan blend plus whole grain. Now, when you read the back, because you'll see the certification down here, that little circle with the GF, if you can see it very clearly there, and that tells you that it is a gluten-free registered product. And here it'll tell you what exactly is in there, and it's brown rice flour and white rice flour and tapioca starch, potato starch, and sorghum flour, and arrowroot starch, and guar gum, and then sweet rice flour. So if you're allergic to any of these items, other items, you probably would not use them. If you're allergic to eggs, nuts, the soy, they're processed in these plants. So you have to really check it out if you know for sure what you're allergic to. Then we have 2 eggs here that are going to go in, and a half a cup of sour cream. And I put a teaspoon of salt in here already, and 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. And the baking powder is a gluten-free product also. It says on there. Yeah, it's not very clear when I get that close or far away. Anyways, yeah, so it's 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. So that is already in here. The camera just took it out. And the brown sugar was a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and a whole cup of white sugar. You just went loosey on me. Sorry about that. And so I just wanted to show you with the brown sugar to remember that you should pack brown sugar. Once you put the sugar in, you make sure it's packed in there. You can maybe see it in the bowl over here. See, that makes sure that you get the whole cup in there. And then, of course, the cup of white sugar, you always level off that and the flours to make sure that you have just a cup when you're doing recipes. And then there is a teaspoon of vanilla in this banana bread. Okay, I think I've told you all of it. So now when I did the last banana bread, I also showed you the pan. I grease and flour my pans to make sure that they don't stick and break the bread up. I do that on my cakes and on here. And this is the gluten-free flour, so it won't hurt you to have that with the, I use a spray. And I use the glass bread pan. And so I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. And you start out slow and then you increase. Now, if I wasn't showing you everything, all at once, because it takes more time for me to show you each thing going in and measuring. And I know a lot of you do know how to measure things, and you just need to know the recipes and maybe a few hints. So then I increase that. So normally you might use put the sugar and the butter in and mix it up, then add your eggs and your vanilla and then your dry product. And this one calls for sour cream. So we're going to add that in here. Okay, I'm going to have to set you down here for a minute so I can get this sour cream out. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the eggs. I can move some of this back so you can see better. And there's 1 egg. Two eggs. Okay, and that's stirring up. Now this takes 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and this is only going to make 1 one banana bread. So if you were wanting more banana bread, you would have to double the recipe. Sometimes I do that with the other recipe, but this one I want to see how it turns out before I do the big batch of it. Okay, so I need 2 cups of flour. Oh, I have one in there. I try to get this stuff ready for you, and I sometimes run out of cups, measuring cups, because I have quite a few different ones, but then, you know, it's always that cup and half cup you end up using more than anything. Okay, I'm going to slow it down so I can add flour without it going everywhere. We've talked about that before, and I think I've even done it while you were watching the video. Okay. And I was going to tell you today I started this little training on podcasting with Kathy Heller, and I when I first started this in February, my Facebook page and doing videos, and first started telling my stories and things, she was one of the first people I ever listened to on the I think it was Facebook or Instagram, but it was the first time I'd ever heard anyone talk about what you do online. I mean, like, I was a baby, I didn't know how to do anything, and so I listened to one of her trainings before, and I it's called Don't Quit Your Day Job, or I think that's the name of it. I forget sometimes these words, but I went through it twice, that one, and I really learned a lot. And then now she's doing one on podcasting. I've listened to other people's trainings too, and they all have something good to share. And so if you're interested in doing something that you're passionate about or you want to share with people, she's still letting people into that one, and it just started today. So you could go to Facebook and look up it's your turn to podcast. But if you look under Kathy Heller, I'm sure you can find it that way too. So I just wanted to share that with you in case there's somebody out there that was thinking that they'd be interested in doing a podcast. She's going over all the different steps and the do's and don'ts of it. And I do have my one on, I do through Anchor, and it goes to 5 different places. And right now I'm doing the parenting class lessons. But I would like to do one where I interview people. So hopefully, if anybody's interested in being interviewed, I'm going to be looking for people to do that with me on the podcast. So, okay, so now that we have our everything mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pan, and we bake it at 350 for, this one's at 350, oops, where is it? For 16 to 20 minutes this will bake. And this is a 9x5 pan. That's the one that they recommend, a 9x5 bread pan. You could probably do this in a different size pan or a different type of pan, but that's what they recommend here. So Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bake that off, and I will post some pictures, and I'm sure it's going to be very yummy. So have a lovely night and evening or morning whenever you're watching this. Okay, bye-bye.